Yeah. Fly Eagles flying, you on the team. Touchdown, touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a bird gang nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season here, really time to do them in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, joined as always by my guy Brandon. And it is Philly the podcast, man. Shout out to all the channel members that are watching this interview live. Memberships are still only $1 for a couple months, so link is in the description. But today we have a very special guest with us. One of the newest Philadelphia Eagles members, punter Arryn Siposs. I hope I said that right. I hope I said your last name right. Arryn, how are you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Doing good, guys. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, you definitely got the last name right, so that's a good start.
There we go. I was hoping so. So let's hop right into it, man. I want to go back to, growing up, obviously from Australia. What gave you that love for Australian football at the time? What really sparked that interest, I should say?
Look, it's a sport that we've grown up playing our whole life. So you watch it on the TV from a very, very young age, and you definitely aspire to do that in the future. So that was just how I grew up, loving the sport, and always wanted to just kick the ball as much as possible. And yeah, that's kind of how it started. So watching it all the time, doing little Oz kick, as we like to say. So it was a little program just for young guys to go and do, join that, and yeah, just kind of fell in love with it. And that's it was a great time of my life, and I'll always love it, no doubt. I'll always still watch it now, even at my age now. And yeah, it was awesome to do when I was a young kid.
That's awesome. Yeah. So now I have a buddy that I met through a job that's from Melbourne, Australia. So, I know we met in Maine. I don't know if you're familiar with Maine at all, but it's a very little small state. And the culture shock for him was, crazy. So I say that to say this: you're coming from Australia, going to Auburn, Alabama. Like, just can you tell me what that shift was? I think saying that Alabama's a little country, I think, is being very fair. So just tell me what that shift was like and how you came accustomed to it.
Yeah, it was different. I'm not going to lie. Now, it was a good different, which was great. I mean, obviously, the Southern hospitality is very, very true. People are very, very generous with their time, and we've met some lovely people, but there was certainly some different things to come out of it as well. So people obviously like their hunting down here, and I wasn't quite used to that. That's one thing. So I was getting accustomed to that, and obviously they're very much Southern style food. So a lot of fried stuff, and that was kind of new to me in a way. But no, honestly, it's been a great experience. Coming here and seeing something else. And as I said, the people have been so generous with their time here. Obviously, there's no NFL team here in Alabama, so going to Auburn University or Alabama, for that matter, is a huge thing here. And they're definitely very passionate when it comes to their football too. So yeah, obviously it's that was pretty cool to witness as well. And obviously being part of that kind of Iron Bowl and things like that every single year is a huge deal down here, and being able to experience that was amazing. But yeah, the people down here have been incredible, and honestly, lots of the people that I've met will be lifelong friends. So that's been awesome.
Now, just to bring it back to Australia a little bit, I know from doing a little bit of research, it said that you play what's called Australian rules football. That's not exactly rugby. Can you let us know kind of the difference? I was trying to watch a little bit of you on YouTube and kind of see, can you describe a little bit what the difference between the actual two are?
Yeah, so obviously rugby is probably very similar to NFL in terms of one team's on one side and one team's on the other side, and you kind of throw the ball to kind of get down the field. Whereas in my sport, really, it's kind of everyone's all over the place. So it's a nice big oval shape. It's probably like 150 yards long and 130 yards wide. So it is a pretty big, playing field. And guys can kind of run anywhere. They can go wherever they want and that. And a lot of it's involved with kicking. So that's kind of why I think the Australians are coming over here and doing their punting, because it's a very similar mechanic to the kicking style that we have back home in Australia. And yeah, I guess it's very, very fast paced. So it's a lot of movement, a lot of guys kind of running around, being super fit. And yeah, you kind of just go up and back, which is very, very fast. It's a little bit complicated, but I guess it's like, there's like a kind of 3 or 4 different sports kind of molded into Aussie rules football, and you kind of just go from there. So it's exciting. Obviously, it's kind of hard to understand because of how fast paced it is, but that's the sport that we grew up doing, and we love it.
Yeah. And so what kind of made you want to do the switch from the Australian rules football to American football?
Yeah, look, I mean, for me, I played professionally, back home for 5 years, and obviously didn't quite work out as well as I would have liked. I had 3 shoulder reconstructions on my left shoulder, so that wasn't ideal in terms of injuries, and that kind of took a toll a little bit, and teams kind of move on from that after a while. But I was very fortunate to play 5 years. It gave me some great experience in that, which was awesome. And I was still 22 at the time, and I thought, look, I still want to try and play professional in some form of way. And I thought I had a pretty decent leg on me, and I thought, well, why not try and get involved with, trying to get to the NFL. So I joined a program called Pro Kick Australia, which they've got a lot of guys over here to join colleges and things like that. I think they've had over, close to 100 guys, if not maybe a bit more, come and be part of the college system. I just joined that program and kind of went from there. And now I'm obviously trying to make my way and get a spot on the roster, and hopefully that all works out.
Definitely. Now, like you said, you went to Auburn. Can you talk to me a little bit about the teammates you had there? I heard a couple of them talking. I saw one of the draft videos that they made with the linebacker talking about you. So can you just tell me a little bit about that dynamic? Because it seemed like you fit in so quickly and just became a family member there.
Yeah, I mean, look, the locker room's definitely a different, what's the right word, I guess, environment. There's a lot of different personalities in there and things like that, which you're always going to deal with. But I guess me coming from Australia kind of made it easy for everyone to talk to. So I was this kind of the token Australian that everybody tried to impersonate and things like that. And I always would laugh and get along with them that way. So it kind of made it easy for me to adjust to. And I was probably a bit older than obviously most of the guys in that locker room. A lot of them are aged 18 to 21. And, I think when I first got there, I was 24, 25. So I guess I came across as that mature kind of person to kind of help them with any kind of struggles they may be having, but a guy to talk to as well. So I met a lot of great guys in there, and a few are in the league right now, which is great. And a few other guys have gone on to do some really good things from a coaching aspect and things like that too. So great locker room. Obviously, lots of different personalities and things like that. You got your loud guys and your quieter guys, which you're always going to get. But I guess I could probably adjusted really well, and just me coming from a different place overall kind of made life pretty easy for me.
Nice. And while you were at Auburn, when you got there, you weren't the starter. They didn't name you the starter, but you worked your way up and was able to get to the top of the depth chart there. What kind of emotions were you feeling that, like, you came over from across the world, and now that you were able to move on out to be a starter and kind of make a name for yourself?
Yeah, look, obviously it was a bit of an interesting time. I moved over here, and I think in July of 2018, kind of very late July. And I think if I remember, our training camp pretty much started 4 or 5 days later. So I was kind of just not really knowing what to expect. Body was probably still adjusting a little bit to the whole kind of new experience, and getting used to the nice hot southern weather that you're going to get down here. I think the first day that I got here, it was probably 100 degrees and felt like 120 just because of the humidity. So that was definitely something different. But look, I never shied away from wanting to get better and backing myself in to make sure that I get the job done. Obviously, the other guy that was here had played the year before, and had done a pretty solid job, and I just needed to make sure that I felt comfortable going into it and feeling good. And obviously, as you said, I didn't get the first kick in our first game, but after that, I got put in pretty much straight away, and the rest is history. So, I started off a bit rough in training camp, but then after kind of a week, as I said, I felt like I adjusted really, really well, and felt more comfortable with the environment, and then put some really good sessions together. And by the time game time was around, I was prepared no matter what happened. So it all worked out in the end, and it's kind of put me in this position now.
That's awesome. Now, I wanted to ask this because I was, like we said, we were doing a little bit of research, making sure we knew our P's and Q's. But I read that you had went into Auburn as a wide receiver, or were open to being a wide receiver until you got the starting. And then I heard that they lined you up on a fake formation at one point. Didn't end up happening. But reason I ask is, should we be telling Sirianni to maybe line you up on a fake formation or something?
No, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. That's for sure. So. No, I purely came over here as a punter. I think maybe a few of those articles and things like that came out just because of the sport that I played back home. I can kind of jump all right and catch the ball fine and kind of move agility-wise. So I think there was just a few things kind of going around a little bit. But, if we're down wide receivers, in some stage of the game, maybe, I don't know. But I certainly haven't been training for that side of things, that's for sure. So, no, I'll just stick to the punting game for now and worry about just trying to kick it as high and as far as possible.
I hear that.
And so on the Eagles, we do have someone that has come from Australia, in Jordan Myalata. Have you had a chance to speak with him or even have a conversation with him, or even other NFL players that have come from outside of the country to kind of gain some kind of knowledge on how the NFL works and everything?
Yeah, look, I haven't spoken to him personally just yet. I look forward to obviously doing that in the near future. Obviously, with all this OTAs and off-season program, not 100% sure what's going on there just yet, but I'm sure at some stage I'll be able to meet him. And from all reports, he's obviously a great guy. I know Jack Driscoll, and who's obviously was drafted last year, that I played at Auburn with, and I know Cam Johnson as well, who was obviously here previously over the last 3 years, and I've had conversations with him too. And he just said that they're great people in the locker room and very special guys. So I look forward to obviously not just meeting Jordan, but also everybody else in that locker room too. So, I was fortunate enough to be on Detroit's, practice squad last year. Obviously didn't win the job, but felt like I had a really good camp, and the guy that beat me out ended up being a Pro Bowler, so I can't really complain too much with it. But gaining that experience myself of being on the practice squad for the whole season, and learning the NFL environment and adjusting to it, kind of I feel like puts me in a really good position going into this year, and hopefully that puts me in a good spot to be able to win the job and be a Philadelphia Eagle.
Yes, and just kind of jump to the NFL now that you brought it up. So you signed undrafted to the Lions, and you kind of got the early experience, I should say, in the business side of the NFL, of like the signing and all the different times when you were on and off the practice squad. How did you kind of handle that emotionally and going through that kind of experience?
I mean, for me, credit to honestly the Detroit Lions. The way they spoke to me and handled the whole situation has been phenomenal. They were very transparent and open with the conversations that I had, and they just told me straight away that, look, we're going to have to obviously release you, on a couple of occasions, just because they needed other positions, obviously, for that week, whether it be at training or whether we're short on guys in a particular position. So we need to bring other guys in. But they were completely open and transparent with the whole situation, and made me feel a lot more comfortable, on the days that obviously I wasn't technically at the facility, but knowing that I was going to be able to come back, 2 or 3 days later and still be part of the organization. So, I don't know if that happens everywhere. Obviously, that's not for me to say, but, the Detroit Lions were fantastic in terms of that, and, definitely made life a lot easier. And I could go home knowing that, it's not a what if, but just when. So that was a big plus.
That's awesome.
Yeah, trust can go a long way. I mean, in the NFL,
No doubt.
or any you work at. So,
No
I
doubt.
mean, that's you had that experience, and hopefully our front office can at least do the same with any kind of respect. But to move in on as a punter and other kickers or special teams, you guys are called upon to go out there on a whim, like at any moment's notice, and be like, all right, come on in, without any warm up or anything. What do you do to kind of keep yourself mentally and ready so when you're called upon, you're going out there and giving it your all?
Yeah, look, I mean, I kind of like watching the game, to be honest, especially when the offense is out there, because obviously if we don't necessarily, go down and score, which ideally we'd love to do most of the time, I just like watching the offense and just seeing where we are on the field, and then that kind of mentally prepare, like, okay, I'm going to be up. Let's mentally, switch on everything like that and make sure I'm prepared to go. When the defense is on, that's kind of my time just to kind of, okay, let's just, zone out for a little bit, just take your mind off a little bit. And then, during that period, I obviously will, kind of meet with the snapper as well and just get some work done with my hands to make sure that's all clean and things like that. And obviously there's a big kicking net on the sideline. I don't know whether you've seen that or anything like that, but I obviously, would normally get a few reps in there just to make sure I'm still feeling pretty warm and ready to go. But, certainly from the mental side of things, I enjoy watching the game a little bit and just making sure I know where I am in the field and what we want to do as a team.
Now look, Aaron, like I said, I went down on a weird rabbit hole yesterday. So, some things I read were crazy. But one of the articles said, and this was a cool nickname, I just want to know if it's a real nickname or what you would give yourself as a nickname. But they said, the leg of thunder from down under. So I need to know, is that something you've heard before? Is there something you want to go with?
I would love to know where you get these articles from. That's incredible. I have no idea about that. But if it all goes well, I'm happy to take that for sure. But that's the first time I've ever heard of that, no doubt.
I love nicknames. So when I saw that, I gotta see what I said.
That's good. No, that's good.
Now, are there any punters that you watched or seen in the NFL that you kind of want to either emulate or at least take from them some lessons that you've seen to better your game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I watch a lot of the guys, and just try and get little points off them. I think everyone's got their own style. I think that's what kind of makes kicking very unique and I guess cool in a way, to be honest, is that everybody does have their own style. So I don't think there's, if you looked at any film, that there's many punters that actually have the exact same technique or anything like that. It's just whatever works for them, and that's kind of what they go with. But I've watched obviously a couple of the Australian guys. Michael Dixon at Seattle, he's obviously really, really good. And I got to watch Jack a lot last year. Obviously, he had a phenomenal season and got to watch him too, which was great. And then I watch a couple of the older guys that have been in the league for a while, kind of like Tommy Morstead, who's been at New Orleans for a while, and Sam Koch, who's been at Baltimore for a long time too. So I just try and mix it with the young guys that are kind of quite powerful, and then the older guys that have obviously, done really, really well for a long time and just know how to kind of put the ball in the right spot and everything too. So there are a few guys that I kind of focus on and watch a fair bit to try and make myself a bit better.
Definitely. Now, last question I want to ask you. I know a lot of my members will want to know this, and I want to know this as well. One of the best things about coming to the NFL is being on Madden. I feel like that's probably the coolest thing you could do, right? So, have you at all on Madden in the upcoming season? How do you feel about that?
I mean, obviously it'd be pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't think many guys get excited about punters going on the field though. I know a lot of my guys that I know, teammates that I know, always go for it on fourth down. So you hardly see the punter on Madden, but it'd be pretty cool. Honestly, being on a video game would be awesome. It's obviously a pretty special thing to do, and obviously such a huge thing here in America, which is great. So if I could get my head on there, that'd be awesome for sure.
I'm sorry, Joe. I can't hear you.
You guys hear me now?
Yeah, I got you now.
Yep.
Sorry about that. You gotta love the internet, man. You gotta love the internet. Hey, I appreciate you. Arryn, just chopping it up with us. And we'll be out there rooting for you on Sundays. And we wish you the best, man.
No worries. I appreciate having me on, and fly will fly.
Yes, there we go.
I like that. I like that. Definitely. So thank you to all the channel members locked in. Be sure to hit that like, subscribe, share. And yeah, other than that, y'all know what it is, man. It is fly. Eagles fly. And we are out here. Peace.